For years, the drill. A hard workout is followed by a scoop of whey protein in a shaker bottle. And yeah, it works. But what if that bloating milk water we've all just accepted isn't the final word on performance? Today, we're going to dig into the science that explains why a growing number of athletes are looking past the cow and into the world of fungi.
So let's just get right to it. This is the big question we're tackling. We're putting that long-held belief that animal protein is the undisputed king to the test. We're going to see if a challenger from the forest floor can actually, take the crown.
But before we can really appreciate the challenger, we've got to take a good hard look at the reigning champ. Animal protein, especially whey, has dominated the market for a reason. But that reign comes with some pretty serious baggage.
I mean, this slide really lays it all out, doesn't it? Our go-to protein source has a massive footprint. We're talking a huge environmental price tag from greenhouse gases and land use, not to mention potential long-term health issues linked to some animal products. And the whole production process is just incredibly resource-intensive. That's the real cost behind that scoop of whey.
Okay, so now let's introduce the alternative. And no, it's not another bean or a new kind of grain. It's something way more ancient and, as the science is starting to show, maybe way more powerful. Enter mushroom protein. So, first things first. To even get in the ring with whey, a protein has to be complete. This is totally non-negotiable. As you can see here, that means it's got to have all 9 of the essential amino acids, the EAAs. These are the absolute fundamental building blocks for muscle that our bodies just can't make on their own. This has always been whey's biggest claim to fame. And that brings us to this huge myth that's been floating around the fitness world forever, that you can only get a complete protein from animal sources. Now, it's true, a lot of plant proteins are incomplete by themselves. You have to combine them to get the full profile. But mushrooms, they're a whole different story. The research is clear. A lot of edible mushrooms pack a full deck of all 9 essential amino acids. And what's really cool about this slide is that we're not talking about some exotic, hard-to-find fungus grown in a lab. We are talking about the button mushrooms on your pizza, the portobellos you throw on the grill, and the shiitake in your stir-fry. These everyday, super accessible mushrooms are scientifically verified to meet the World Health Organization standards for a complete protein. Right? And this quote right here, this highlights what is basically the next knockout punch for athletes. It's not just about having all the amino acids, it's about having high levels of the most important ones for muscle growth, the branched-chain amino acids, or BCAAs. You know them, leucine, isoleucine, and valine. Most plant proteins are pretty low in these, but mushroom protein is loaded with them, putting it right up there with meat and whey. So, having a complete protein profile, that's step 1. But for an athlete, the real question is, how fast can my body actually use it? And this is where mushroom protein really starts to pull ahead of the pack. The secret is a process called hydrolysis. Okay, think of a normal protein, like a locked door. Hydrolysis uses special enzymes to basically pre-digest it, breaking that door down into these tiny, usable pieces called peptides. These smaller bits don't require much work from your gut, so they get absorbed almost instantly and shuttled right to your muscles. And hey, this isn't just a theory. Look at this number. In one study, the degree of hydrolysis, which is basically just how digestible it is, for a protein concentrate from oyster mushrooms hit 76.2%. For comparison, just plain old unprocessed mushroom flour only got to 23.5%. This processing makes a world of difference in how much your body can actually use. So what's the big deal with that super fast absorption? Well, it creates something called an insulinotropic effect. When you take these mushroom protein hydrolysates, especially with some carbs, it helps your body jam glycogen and amino acids into your muscles way more efficiently. It's like an express delivery service for muscle repair, completely supercharging your recovery window. All right, quick pause. We're about to get into the most unique and, honestly, the coolest benefits of mushroom protein. But before we do, if you're getting value out of this breakdown, just take a second to hit that subscribe and like button. It really helps us out, and you won't miss our next deep dive. And, of course, a really important disclaimer here. All of this is for educational purposes, and it's based on the latest research. This is not medical advice. You should always talk to a health professional before making any big changes to your diet or your training routine. Okay, let's get into what really sets this stuff apart. This is the point where mushroom protein stops being just an alternative to whey and starts making a serious case for being superior. It's not just about what it builds, it's about what else it can do. You see, unlike whey, which is pretty much a one-trick pony,
It helps build muscle, and that's about it. Mushroom proteins are packed with these things called bioactive compounds. The proteins themselves act like functional ingredients, almost like little pharmaceutical agents. They can actively improve your health while they're repairing your muscle. Let's start with superpower number 1. Peptides found in just regular old button mushrooms have been shown to have an ACE inhibitory effect. In simple terms, that means they help relax your blood vessels. This can lead to better circulation and healthier blood pressure. That is a massive benefit for your heart health that you are just not going to find in your standard tub of protein. Next up is cellular defense. Intense exercise creates something called oxidative stress. It's a natural part of training, but too much of it really wears your body down. Well, the antioxidant compounds in mushroom proteins help neutralize these damaging free radicals, protecting your cells and speeding up recovery on a microscopic level. Now, this is where the research gets really incredible. Studies have shown that certain protein extracts and peptides from mushrooms can actually stop tumor cells from growing and even trigger them to self-destruct in lab settings. Now, this is definitely cutting-edge science, but it points to this profound therapeutic potential that's locked inside these fungi. So, when we put all this together, what's the final verdict? What does the tail of the tape look like? How does our fungal challenger really stack up against the reigning animal-based champion? All right, let's break down the final scorecard. On protein quality and BCA content, it's a dead heat. Both are fantastic. But then we get to digestibility, and the pre-digested mushroom hydrolysates take the win over standard whey isolates. Then you look at bonus health benefits, it's a total shutout. Mushroom protein is packed with these therapeutic compounds, while whey has none. And on sustainability, well, it's not even close. So, look, the evidence is really stacking up. Mushroom protein isn't just a viable alternative. For a lot of people, it's a multifunctional upgrade that's better for your body and way better for the planet. The question isn't really if it works anymore, it's when are you going to give it a try? So what do you think? Let's debug this in the comments below.